Hi, this is Katie Bomberger, and this is my screencast for Module 1, Part 2. My professional background is that I'm a 2011 graduate of Millersville University with my Bachelor of Science in Education, and I recently began my 5th year in the Northern Lebanon School District as a 4th grade teacher. I'm currently pursuing my master's degree with a STEM endorsement in order to better serve my students and prepare them for the future. My hobbies and interests include baking, cake decorating, gardening, and spending time with my 2 children, Jacob and Sophia, and our dog Teddy. And I've been married to my husband Nick for 10 years, and as I said, we have 2 children, and we're expecting our 3rd child in early November. Getting on to the learning strategies. As for strategy 1, providing a clear and understandable vision of the learning target, I use the strategy multiple times a day. I introduce the learning targets and goals at the beginning of the lesson, in the middle of the lesson, and it's really important that the students understand what we're learning and why we're going to be doing it. And it's important for me to convert the learning target into student-friendly language. For strategy 2, using examples and models of strong and weak work. Modeling has been something that I've learned to use more and more as I've gained more experience as a teacher, and I've learned that without it, the students really don't know what exactly they're expected to do. I model everything now, including examples of strong and weak work and problems that students normally come across in the context of the class, and it helps students to understand where to start and how to think through some of the common problems and roadblocks. And it also ties in with discussing the learning goals. And as you discuss the strong and weak examples, you can refer to the reason for completing the task and how you're reaching the goal. Communicating with students during their progress is critical, and it can't be saved for after the test. So I use strategy 3 with students throughout all of my lessons, and we have conversations as they're working. And it's only fair to offer them feedback instead of grades on work that's for practice, as was stated in the chapter. Strategy 4 is related to strategy 1 because in order to know how well they're doing, they must have a clear understanding of what it is they're to be achieving. So it can also be related to strategy 2 because for them to know how to self-assess, this is something that has to be modeled and practiced. Struggling students are especially the right students, and I have observed that they're better at self-assessing than some of my other students. So strategy 4 is very important, and as I said, it's related to strategies 1 and 2. Strategy 5, this can be used in relationship to strategy 4 to use practice work that students have done in class and provide them with feedback so that they can assess their own learning as you plan your next steps. And this way the students and teachers can work together to improve the learning process. And this strategy allows me to make informed decision about reteaching or enrichment strategies. Strategy 6, design-focused instruction. This builds upon strategy 5. By evaluating student misconceptions, we can focus on a very specific aspect of a learning goal that our students can improve upon. I find this strategy helpful because students are not always struggling on the same part of the learning goal, and by evaluating the work of each student, I can tailor my next step to individuals or small groups with specific practice. For strategy 7, provide opportunities for students to track, reflect on, and share their progresses. As stated, this strategy gives students the opportunity to notice their own strengths, and if we can build them up and increase their confidence, I believe we're fostering a greater love of learning and increase their chances of success. I use this strategy in my own classroom. We track our progress in reading and math, and they can see how far that they've come. And it can relate to strategy 4 because students can self-assess their progress and then review the strides they have made. They can also determine their future goals. Those are my thoughts on the 7 strategies of formative assessment.